Amazon's House of David show has become a huge success worldwide and has already been renewed for a second season. I also already made 2 videos talking about how many fantastic things there are about the show, but there is something else about House of David that almost nobody seems to be talking about online, and I want to address because I think that it might change the film industry forever. House of David is the first show to use fully AI generated images and even full AI generated scenes. And I'm not talking about screenplays that were written with the help of AI or AI editing. I'm talking about full on AI generated humans, locations, costumes, like imagery and so on. And House of David is the first show to do this, to show us AI generated images that in a narrative format that most people wouldn't even recognize that it was made with AI. Now, I love the show both as a Christian and as a film fan, but when it comes to the use of AI in the show, I think it's really problematic. Here's my main problem with this. When I saw episode 6, I think it was, that had the opening scene fully generated with AI, it almost felt like I accidentally turned on the wrong show. Like I was surprised because stylistically this looked like a totally different show from everything else. And it even had certain images that felt very inappropriate to me, specifically how male and female characters were shown in a really objectified way. And I won't even include these shots in here because just because of how weird and inappropriate they look. I was honestly really shocked and confused why the filmmakers decided to show characters almost naked. I mean, especially as a biblical show, I honestly think this was a really bad decision. So the rest of the AI generated scenes actually look really good, even beautiful at moments. There are even more AI generated shots scattered throughout the season. There are some backgrounds that have been enhanced and enlarged through AI, and some of that imagery is a combination of a real image combined with AI visual effects. John Irwin, who is the showrunner of House of David, said that he had budgetary reasons for using AI instead of traditional CGI. They really had like expensive scenes written into the screenplay that would have been impossible with the time they had and the budget they had. And AI just allowed them to create images that would have otherwise been impossible to produce. While these reasons are really plausible to me, I still have my issues with the use of AI. First of all, like stylistically, it doesn't fit into the rest of the season, and it's used for really inappropriate, I think, portrayal of humans in front of the camera. And second of all, I have a more general problem with the use of AI in filmmaking. One of the biggest reasons why we watch movies is to understand the human experience better. Like the human aspects of filmmaking are one of the major reasons why filmmaking is interesting. You know, the people behind and in front of the camera making the movie or the show. If you use AI, you get more freedom of expression, of course, because you can create more out of nothing. But for me, it's not just about the use of traditional visual effects versus AI VFX. I'm not particularly against AI replacing human labor. That's what always has happened with innovation, specifically technical innovation. And I'm not worried at all about artists losing their jobs, because I do think the creative industry is like one of the last industries that will be changed by AI, even though it's really interesting to talk about AI generated creativity. Like real art by humans will always be more interesting to us than computer-generated art. Filmmaking, having narrative and technical boundaries, is exactly what separates it from video games, for example, like the flexibility or the imaginative freedom you have with the written word. Limitations are precisely what makes filmmaking beautiful to me. And traditional visual effects are fundamentally different than what AI generated effects can do. I mean, you use visual effects to create things that don't exist. And that's how, if you see CGI in a movie, you can tell it's CGI even though it's well made. Like, for example, the Avatar movies, like they are photorealistic, but still we know it's visual effects that you see most of the time throughout the film, because stuff like this doesn't exist in real life. Of course, there is the other end of the spectrum with like David Fincher, who uses CGI snow or like CGI walls because it's a perfectionist and you don't notice it while watching the movie. But in general, we can say that CGI is used in order for things that would otherwise be impossible to put on film. AI suddenly makes it possible to create images out of nowhere that do exist in real life. And then you can twist them into any direction you want, like humans in real places, but you don't really have to put the resources behind it that would be needed for you to actually go and film it. This may sound obvious. I mean, this is basically what the use of AI is all about, but this makes us as audience members, and I think that's really drastic, not able to tell reality from artificiality anymore. And that's why I think many other people don't want to see AI generated film scenes. With the use of AI, filmmaking suddenly turns into another medium that I'm kind of being tricked into watching. One of my favorite filmmakers, Christopher Nolan, like he shoots most of his spectacular action scenes in camera, and I think it's more than just being a snob or being old school. I think that his approach comes from, okay, if you do something for real in front of the camera, it changes every single aspect of the work. It changes the way the actors act, if they have like the real thing in front of them. It changes the way you light the scene. It changes the way, the places you put the camera and the perspectives you get on whatever you're filming. And all of these details combined make up for a more grounded viewing experience. And I think we as humans underestimate our visual literacy in telling if something is authentic or not. At the end of the day, I don't want to see AI generated filmmaking because it just feels off to me, and I honestly don't see a reason to use AI when it comes to filmmaking. And I honestly don't see like a good reason to really go for AI use in filmmaking. One of the biggest creative factors, the reason why I like films is if you can't do something, if you can't pull off something with your filmmaking, you find creative solutions to still pull it off. Using AI, if something is not possible, feels like using a cheat code, and what you sacrifice by using that cheat code is authenticity. Film is such a modern medium. It hasn't even existed 200 years ago in comparison to music or painting that have existed as mediums for thousands of years. They have barely been technically innovated, but culturally and creatively, there has been so much innovation that has happened with the medium of music or painting. And I do want to see this kind of cultural and creative innovation in filmmaking and not really technical innovation. I think that limitation is what makes art beautiful, and that's why any kind of technical innovation in filmmaking really has to be questioned, especially with a tool like AI that's more powerful than any other technical innovation in the history of film. But that's just my 2 cents, guys. Please let me know what you think about the AI generated scenes in House of David and the use of AI in narrative filmmaking in general. I'm really curious to continue the conversation in the comments. I thank you so much for watching my video right here. I wish you all a blessed day and hope to have you back in the next one.